Welcome to Emotions and Eating with Nicola Beer. Nicola controlled her feelings using food for 25 years, so she knows how draining it is to be constantly thinking about or acting out with food. Thankfully, having made an amazing breakthrough in her recovery, her mission became about helping others escape the unsatisfying cycle of frustration and self-medication with food. Nicola is determined to help you find your inner strength so you can be healthy, gain confidence, feel great, and be at peace with yourself and food.
Hi and welcome. Interesting topic today. We're going to be talking about how to stop obsessive infatuation, fantasizing and lusting over another person outside of your relationship. And this has also been a term called limerence. I'm not sure whether you pronounce it limerence or limerence, so for the sake of today, I'll call it limerence. But if I say limerence by mistake, then you know what I'm talking about. And we're going to be looking at what are the traits and how to change it. Seems to me that there's a label for everything these days. And it quite honestly baffles me, putting people into boxes and saying, okay, this is you now. Sometimes it can have benefits because people can then understand, okay, these are the behaviours I am portraying, and great, I now know that there's a name for it, and I know that people are also going through the same thing. I'm not the only one, and you can read success stories of how people have changed and tips and strategies they've used. So in that way, identifying as having a kind of, let's say, condition, as they call it, it can be useful. However, sometimes it can be detrimental because sometimes people will read a list of behaviours and say, oh no, I'm doomed. I'm going to have to be this way. This is who I am. This is how I'm going to live the rest of my life with these behaviours. Take it or leave it. And that can really damage relationships, and it can also disempower a person. So I work with people with any label that they've been given by a psychiatrist, by a psychologist, by themselves, by a friend, family member, romantic partner, and we just get down into the behaviours. Because I'm sure you've had the experience, whether it's for a medical condition or a mental health condition, that you've gone on the internet, you've found there's a list of behaviours and traits, and you tick some of the boxes. You tick half of the boxes. In fact, I had a lady reach out to me the other day and she said, oh, Nicola, I read this article and maybe I've got unresolved issues because I hit 8 of these 15 criteria. So I looked through the list, and honestly, reading this list, it could apply to everyone. 15 points of behaviours. And, I had loads of those behaviours. I had thoughts about the past. I had, so sometimes they're describing completely natural, normal human things. So with anything that you want to change, look at the behaviours and then get some support if you are finding it challenging to change one or more of those behaviours, and then just work on them until they're changed. All behaviour is learned, and it gets stored in our unconscious mind, and so therefore it can be unlearned, a new behaviour can be installed, a new strategy, and you can be free of it. So today's topic is about fantasizing about another person, obsessing over another person that's outside of your relationship. So this was labelled a condition, limerence, in 1979 by a psychologist called Dorothy Tenoff. So we're going to be referring to that, also to the terms lust, love, infatuation. So this condition, limerence, which I don't really like to label people, so if you identify with any of these or all of these, then look at what is it that you want to change if you're looking to change. And if you're in a relationship with someone that's displaying these, I will also be talking about that as well. So thinking obsessively about a particular person to the point where you can't sleep, eat or work. This is limerence. You are emotionally dependent on this particular person and feel the urge to be around them at all times. And it's incredibly difficult for you to be away from them. So you struggle you want to be around them. You want to see them. You want them to see you. You put them on a pedestal and they can do no wrong in your eyes. They are the epitome of perfection to you. Whether feelings are reciprocated or not, these feelings of lust, limerence, can continue to evolve and become more and more intense. And I come across this regularly in my work over the past 12 years in relationships, where people have what they experience as uncontrollable thoughts and feelings towards another person. Sometimes it can be how relationships start. Sometimes people can be married and start affairs in their head, which may or may not become emotional or physical cheating, as they get obsessed with someone in their office or at their gym. And it can start off as someone being kind and considerate towards them, whether it's a neighbour, a colleague, someone from their gym, like I said, or exercise class, or someone within the friendship circle. Even had it where it's someone within the family, and that's when it gets dangerous as well. And this person can become an object of obsession. So in this episode today, I'm going to cover the signs to see if you could be caught up in excessive infatuation, lust, that thought cycle termed limerence. What you can do to stop obsessive thoughts about other people outside of your relationship. How you can learn from your crushes that you may have towards others and break free from the cycle of wanting to impress someone and get attention. As well as how you can forget someone that has become your obsession. Also, for those worried in a relationship with somebody who's showing signs of being obsessed by someone else, what to do. Not many people know that our mind can easily get stuck into thought loops. And until they experience this for themselves, they don't understand how often draining and crazy making it can make you feel. And by that I mean you can feel like you're literally going crazy, and maybe you don't. Maybe you feel like this person is meant to be. This person is the love of your life. Maybe this person is your soulmate. You're destined to be with them because you've never felt like this by anybody else. So infatuation and repetitive thoughts about a person can easily make a person feel very lost, very confused, wonder if it's true love, if it's meant to be. They may Google what's the difference between love and lust. Sometimes people will ask me, am I having a midlife crisis? What's wrong with me? And often it's people have got stuck in a thought loop, often to escape something that they're feeling. And I'll talk about that in a bit. So one of the friends that I had in high school, and when I was creating this podcast today, I thought back to, wow, I really know someone that had this when I was a teenager. So one of my friends, she would get infatuated by someone, absolutely obsessed. She had an amazing boyfriend that we all loved, really caring and kind and really supportive, really fun, like lovely guy, and she loved him. And yet she became obsessed with his friend who works in a bar where I'm from in the UK. So she would make me and our other friends go to this bar to see this other person. And she would dress up and want to impress this other person. And she barely said hello. She used to say like, hi, that was about it. And yet for that hi to him, me and my other friends would have to go to this bar, and we'd be like, we don't want to go to that bar because it's the other end of town. But she would be so insistent and so demanding about it that me and my friends were like, look, for a peaceful life, let's just go there. It is a nice bar, so okay. And that became kind of like the place we went to. And it was a nice place, but it's just like, she was so obsessed, and she would talk about him and we'd be like, we really didn't know what to say because she was in a relationship with someone else. And of course we tried saying that and she wasn't having any of it. And she really would like spend ages like getting ready and just really wanting to see him. And it really made no sense to us. It gave her a sense of excitement. And there was then she moved on later at university and had another crush on somebody in her university, and she would work out his timetable, and she would, fantasize about where he was going to be. In that time, she was actually single, and it was just like, oh my God, like she's trying to track what his timetable at uni is like, and what bars he goes to, and what sports he does, just so she could arrange to look her best and bump into him. So I do have first-hand experience of this. So when I was writing this and creating this episode, I thought, wow, if I'd known what I know now, maybe I could have helped her. Of course, I was only 18 at the time, 18 to 22. So there's not really a lot you can do at that age, because you just don't really understand it yourself. And of course, you're going through your own ups and downs in relationships, shall I say. So this can happen for people with shopkeepers, neighbours, work colleagues, friends of friends. So how do you know that you might benefit from support to break free from the unhelpful thought loops that perhaps you may have become stuck into? Well, it's when your thoughts become intrusive, when they stop you from carrying out daily tasks because you can't think about anything else apart from this particular person, and everything you do is somehow linked to them. For example, you may play songs and listen to them, and they remind you of them. You may get ready and want to improve your image and things to have them think highly of you. So you may start fearing how you will look in front of them and not wanting to taint the way that this particular person may see you. You may only want them to see the best side of you, in the hope that they may reciprocate your feelings towards them. You may research and study the things that they're into so that you can have better conversations with them, and you can share that you've got that same interest and become interested in things that they're interested in. The feelings may become so intense so quickly that you really want to be in their presence. You want to be around them. And you may play in your mind scenarios of what you're going to say when you see them. Fake conversations. Conversations in your head may start to occupy your mind and thoughts. You may start to plan your day around this person. Like I mentioned earlier about my friend. Finding out where they're going to be and what's the best time to catch them and where might they go for coffee or lunch or things like that. You may look into their social media platforms and interactions with other people, reading their conversations, their past posts, looking at their photos. And often people find that it's helping them to escape day-to-day life. They become hooked on it, like they're addicted to it. It becomes a hook. And often with all addictions, when I help people to break free from different addictions and habits, it's often they're escaping a feeling. Sometimes they're escaping stress, anxiety, boredom, loneliness, emptiness, unhappiness, any uncomfortable feelings. They use it to escape in their mind. And the thing about infatuation, lust and fantasizing about someone, you can do it any place, anywhere. There's really no restrictions on it for most people. And some people know it's time to get help when they take it a step too far, when they harass someone, when they turn it into physical cheating. So as you can gather from the signs that I've discussed, experiencing this infatuation and this level of consuming thoughts, limerence, is so consuming. It can make people feel good or guilty, sad, wondering if they're crazy. It can take an impact on their emotional and physical well-being, and of course on the relationship, because if your attention is on someone else, even if it's only in your head, that's going to take you away from your other relationships, your work, your children, if you have children. So here are some tips to help you to break free from obsessively thinking about somebody else outside of your relationship. And even if you're doing it within your relationship, is it healthy? Is it good for you? Is it working for you? Is it supporting your life? And if you've already tried what I'm going to be sharing with you in the tips, then consider getting some support. If talk therapy isn't working, if journaling isn't working, if some of the things I'm going to mention to you aren't enough to break free, then it may be time to reach out.